The new Captain America Brave New World trailer has dropped, and we here at the Laps Geek Podcast are here to analyze the trailer, give you the Easter eggs, a guide to the main characters, and the possible plot points we can see with our geek brains. I am Doc John, your guide through this latest MCU fare, and let's jump straight into the trailer. The trailer begins with Isaiah Bradley in prison asking to see Sam Wilson Captain America. We'll see why he's in prison later in the trailer, but it's important that Sam asks Isaiah here if he remembers anything. Now, who is Isaiah Bradley? We have seen him before in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier Disney Plus series, and his comic book and his MCU origins are fairly similar. We don't see a reason to go into the comic book origins, but if you're interested, pick up Truth, Red, White, and Black. It's a great comic book that gives a lot of depth to the character. In the MCU, Bradley was a Korean War veteran who was subjected to super soldier serum tests against his will in the 1950s in an attempt to create a brand new Captain America. He was tasked with eliminating the Winter Soldier, who was operating in South Korea at the time, but failed. Bradley was then imprisoned by the U.S. military for disobeying orders when he freed American POWs against orders. He was in prison for 30 years while the CIA and Hydra continued experimenting on him, and was only freed when a nurse took pity on him and helped him fake his death. Since then, he's been living quietly in Baltimore, which is where we saw him during the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show. Next, we see Isaiah at the White House with Sam Wilson and President Thadius Ross, now played by Harrison Ford. Ross was previously played by the late William Hurt. We first saw him in The Incredible Hulk, where Ross is hunting Bruce Banner and enlists Emil Blonsky as an agent, giving him a variation of the super soldier serum. In Captain America Civil War, he's become the Secretary of State, and he's the one who proposes the Sokovia Accords, which fractured the Avengers. He was also in attendance at Tony Stark's funeral. Isaiah appears to be triggered in some way, like the Winter Soldier conditioning, and he attacks Ross before jumping out of a window, and then we see him being taken into custody, which explains the opening scene where he's in prison. Isaiah seems to be unaware of what's happened to him and warns Captain America to be careful. We discover that there were 5 shooters in the attack, and we see Sabra here for the first time. Sabra made her debut in the comics in 1980 and was an Israeli-born mutant that served as an agent of the Israeli Secret Service, the Mossad. Sabra possessed superhuman strength, speed, invulnerability, agility, reflexes, stamina, and a healing factor, kind of like an Israeli Captain Carter, and even the ability to transfer part of her life force to another individual, which granted healing and even low-level superpowers to the affected individual. She looks to be more of a Black Widow-level operative in the trailer, and we doubt that she'll have the superhuman abilities from the comics. Rumor has it that she will also be downplaying her Israeli roots due to the current political tensions, but then one might wonder why they would use the Sabra name at all, since it's a slang term for native-born Israeli of Jewish descent. So, whoops. The U.S. appears to be on the brink of war, with Sam worried that the president's inner circle has been compromised. We then see the Falcon wings for the first time, and we can note here that Sam now has 2 drones, as opposed to just Red Wing. Red Wing, of course, is a nod to the actual Falcon Sam shared a telepathic connection with in the comics. Comics are fun. Next, we see Captain America hit supersonic speeds to land at a presumably enemy compound. We assume that this is early in the film because Sam is still wearing the Captain America suit from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier with the white shoulders. The retractable flight helmet is new and a nice touch so that Sam's face doesn't tear off at Mach speeds, which he's obviously traveling at since a sonic boom follows in his wake. We get a glimpse at the new Falcon, Joaquin Torres, who did take up the mantle in the comics when Sam became Captain America. Falcon and Cap appear to be in a naval theater, and leaks suggest that we are at the Tiamat site. Yes, that place from the Eternals where a Celestial rose from the sea and where Cersei transmuted him into another substance, which may actually be the cause of all this conflict as countries race to claim the remains of the Celestial. We see the scenes of a state funeral, and we don't know who died, but it's probably a safe bet that it was someone who died during the attack at the White House. And now we get a glimpse at the person in the shadows manipulating all these events, who is none other than Samuel Stearns, the leader. If you thought the Eternals was a callback from the past, this is a callback to the Incredible Hulk from 16 years ago, so this callback is legal to drive. Samuel Stearns was a university professor who was attempting to help Bruce Banner and the Incredible Hulk under the alias Mr. Blue. Emil Blonsky, wishing to gain the power of the Hulk, forces Stearns to inject him with Banner's blood. Blonsky becomes a being more powerful than the Hulk because it combines with the super soldier serum to make him the Abomination. He attacks Stearns, who is knocked to the floor, where Banner's blood drips into a cut on his skull. His head begins to mutate, and we can assume this gave him super intelligence as the leader. Next, we see a Reset Ross, Reset America slogan in the conspiracy board, which suggests that Stearns has been watching The Manchurian Candidate and based all of his schemes on it. We finally get to some action as we see fighter jets fire missiles that Captain America detonates with his shield and then with his wings in a battering ram configuration. But if we look at the planes, they appear to be American F-22 Raptors, so it's possible that Sam is preventing America from attacking another foreign power to stave off all-out war. We also see the new Captain America suit with the dark blue chest and shoulders, and apparently Sam and Joaquin are taken into custody for reasons. But most likely it's because Ross doesn't want any variables out there that he cannot control. Tiamat's hand can be seen in this shot. And now we get Sidewinder, played by the fantabulous Giancarlo Esposito. Sidewinder in the comics was a thief given the power to teleport by the Roxxon Corporation and later organized a group of Snake-themed villains who often fought Captain America as the Serpent Society. Comics are wild. Mr. Esposito does not seem to be wearing any snake-themed gear, so we assume he's Sidewinder in name only. IMDb also tells us that actress Rosa Salazar is playing Diamondback, another member of the Serpent Society. Diamondback has a complicated history with the Society, and she sometimes worked with or was romantically involved with the Steve Rogers Captain America. We see Sabra again, but this time in action. Now, if you've come this far and you haven't yet, please think about going down there, hitting the like, hitting the subscribe button, showing us some support and love like you've been doing for the last couple of months. And we cannot thank you enough for all the love and support you've shown us. We appreciate it tremendously. We here at the Lapse Geek Podcast love doing this stuff. We'd be doing it if nobody was watching. But of course, it's nice if you are. We do 1-minute comic book reviews. We do these trailer breakdowns. We did the ever popular and controversial all 75 movies featuring Marvel characters in the last 40 years. Go check that out and then complain about how terrible the list is. Again, thank you guys so much for all your love and support. We'll see you in the next video on the only channel for geeks by geeks. And now we see Ross transform into the Red Hulk. There are some neat little details here, like the carpet singeing under the Red Hulk's fingers, because the angrier the Red Hulk gets, the hotter Red Hulk gets, much like Ana de Armas. Unlike his comic book origins, which are a bit too convoluted, it seems like Ross is turned into the Red Hulk by the leader as part of his plot. It makes sense, as the leader had samples of Banner's blood, and if his intelligence was enhanced, then he could certainly have figured out how to engineer a Hulk. Here's the dark blue suit again as we get Sam facing off against the Red Hulk, which brings us to the end of the trailer. We here at the Lapse Geek Podcast think this trailer looks great. People have been divided about Sam as Captain America, but it's a great story choice. I keep reading that people want the Winter Soldier as the new Captain America, and this did happen in the comics with a terrible costume to go along with it. James Buchanan Barnes is not a great choice for Captain America because he's such a similar character to Steve. Yes, he has that darkness to him, but he's also the man out of time, so you would just be retreading story beats. But the most important reason is that the Winter Soldier is awesome. It's one of the greatest new characters introduced into the Marvel Universe in over 30 years. Why would we want him as Captain America? Sam has been Captain America in the comics for years now, and he's killing it. He has different stories to tell and an almost completely different power set, which makes the character a joy to explore. The film looks fun. Callbacks to Marvel lore are cool. The espionage bent is something we haven't seen in the Captain America film, and we hope to bring you a review as soon as we see it, which we will opening night. Thank you for your support, and have yourself a marvelous day.